Hi everyone, I'm Irene from Admin Army, and today I have Lorna with me. Lorna is our accounting practice support manager, and she has volunteered herself very kindly to be my first guinea pig as I introduce everyone to the team. So hi Lorna, how are you?
Hi Irene, I am very good, thank you. I'm having a great day.
So do you want to just tell me a little bit about yourself and your background and how you ended up working for Admin Army?
Yeah, absolutely. So as you said, I'm the APS manager at Admin Army. I am a New Zealand chartered accountant. I've been qualified for 10 odd years and I've worked through practice and then also through industry. My most recent role previous to joining Admin Army, I was actually the operations manager in the finance industry. So that really gives me, I think, a well-rounded approach to business. I've got, experience on both sides of that business coin, as well as the sort of internal practice know-how and knowledge in terms of an accounting firm. About me, I mostly think of myself as being really efficiency focused and also balancing that out with being pragmatic. I like to ask the big questions. I'm sort of like, well, if this process isn't adding value, why are we doing it at all?
Cool. And how'd you end up here? Like, why? Why are you here?
Why am I here? So I saw this really spectacular job ad on Seek. I've been out on maternity leave and I moved provinces, so I couldn't retain my old job. And I came across the Admin Army advertisement and it was just fantastic. The way it was written and the vibe of the people that came through in that job advertisement was just struck a really, really strong chord with me. And I felt immediately drawn to the type of company that Admin Army is and the type of people that are running that company. So I wasn't actually really looking for a job. I was more just dipping a toe in to see what was out there. And I thought, why not? I really love this. This seems like something I could really sink my teeth into. So I ripped together a little bit of a cover letter, and what do you know? Irene calls me. We had an interview and got the process running. I just was absolutely in love with our interview. We had such a nice chat, and the way that I guess you speak about Admin Army and the passion that you've got is just so contagious that I felt really excited to actually move forward and jump on the Admin Army bandwagon and just really drive that business forward. And I certainly haven't looked back since. It's been a whirlwind of the last few months.
Well, we certainly dumped you right in the deep end.
Yes.
I think you've done an amazing job since you started and kind of shaping the team and building out that kind of accounting practice support division that we now have. So what does the accounting practice support team actually do?
I quite like to think of myself as dealing in time. I facilitate the ability for accounting practices to actually take back some of their own time and some of their accountants' time. So, of course, outsourcing is, right, a practice support. What we do is we prepare financial statements and tax returns and resolutions and work papers so that a client's team can actually go through and focus on the bigger jobs, the more value add business advisory services, and actually just not be totally bogged down in the hugely, I guess, fluctuating period through compliance when it's really busy. And so, I mean, the way we do that is by preparing these really top-notch, great quality work papers, having our own internal processes that work in seamlessly with the client's process, and just keeping clients in the loop and really just giving them the best value we can for getting that compliance stuff done, which at the end of the day, it's a necessary thing that needs to be done, but it's not a lot of the time where the value is in terms of an accounting practice. And I want to give accounting practices back that time to be able to go and focus on their own growth, their own staff development, and also their own clients and their own client relationships.
Yeah, definitely. One thing that I love about accounting practice support is how it really takes the theme that Edmanami was built on around, allowing business owners to focus on their own businesses and freeing up their time, and is offering that within the accounting sector as well.
Absolutely.
So can you tell me a little bit about your team and obviously the ones that are doing the work? So what do they look like and how do they all operate?
They are fantastic. I actually had a meeting with my team this week, as I do every week, and I sort of said to them, guys, don't think that I'm more important than you, because actually you guys are the ones doing the work. You are more important to me and more important than me than anything else in this business. And they really appreciated that, and we've got such a great relationship. My team are absolutely fantastic. I really, really love them, and they are just so passionate and so dedicated that they will just move heaven and earth to try and understand and process and get things done. So I guess the main thing that is about our team is that we're really fun and outgoing, and we're really not afraid to let our personalities shine, and you will see that when you work with Edmanami. We love a bit of banter, and we're definitely not afraid to let ourselves be who we are, and that's fantastic. So I guess the Edmanami aim with APS is to let our team become an extension of a client's team. And so there's no generic email addresses, and when you work with Edmanami, you really get to know us as individuals. So on that note, let me tell you a little bit about some of the guys in my team. We have Anit. He is our longest serving member of APS. Mm-hmm. He is a bit of a gift king. He loves to send a good gift.
He does have a good gift.
Yeah, he does. He writes a ripper email. He is absolutely fantastic at communicating ideas. And he's also quite into archery and anime.
Oh, okay. One thing that I love about Anit was when he saw our pictures from our strategy day last week, and he was like, oh, I thought, strategy day, I was like a whole lot of, CEOs sitting around a table with pie charts, not everyone in blankets and Irene sitting on the floor. And, he just thought that was hilarious. And it's just a great way to show, again, like how much we can kind of connect with the team on just an everyday person-to-person level as well.
Absolutely, they are. And they are real people. They're my colleagues, but they're also my friends. And I love that about working at Edmanami, and I love that about accounting practice support. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So the rest of the team, we have Prashita. She is trying and desperately working towards holding a wedding. It's obviously been postponed and put off, and now is very uncertain in terms of the world at the moment. But she is really looking forward to hopefully getting that underway really soon. She is a total sweetheart, and she also has a really sweet tooth. So every night you might catch Prashita having a little bit of a sweet treat before bed. Then we have Preeti. She is a little bit of a workaholic, and she really, really loves the ability to be able to be working remotely and working from home and the flexibility that offers. Mm-hmm. She will quite often be known to be sending emails in the evenings once the kids have gone to bed. Yeah. I then have Sharma. She has fairly recently joined the team. She is, in her own words, really into space management. She keeps rearranging things in her house. So
okay. Okay. I was trying to wonder how she was like managing the satellites or something.
No, into her home decor space management. She likes to make things that are, really tidy, and everything has its place in her house. And so the rest of her family go looking for things, and they just have no idea where to find anything. And she thinks it's hilarious.
Awesome.
And I've also got Deepa, and Deepa is a funky young woman, and I really enjoy working with her. Her main passion is actually music. She's really into listening to music, and she'll quite often be found while she's working away. She'll have her headphones in listening to some really sweet tunes.
Awesome, awesome. And I've heard through the grapevine that you've been getting some cooking lessons, Lorna.
Yes, so I have been talking about Indian style cooking and how some of the ladies are really into some of that more healthy cooking and how they use clay pots and are using all these sort of whole food ingredients and how they do everything from scratch. It's just unbelievable. I get things out of a packet most of the time to at least start a meal, I use curry paste. But these amazing people are making all these things from scratch, and it's just mind blowing.
Yeah, I generally use Uber Eats. So that's about as far as my cooking skill goes. Not the thing that I bring to the team. And so they're all quite highly qualified, aren't they?
Yeah. So all my guys have a wealth of experience that varies from sort of 10, 12 years down to a couple of years experience. They are what I would call senior accountants. They are either CPA qualified or qualified in their various regional bodies. A lot of them have a bookkeeping background before they moved into the accounting practice support space. And I find that so valuable because when we are processing a compliance job and there are quite complex bank reconciliation issues or APAR issues, these guys can really draw on that bookkeeping background and they can reconcile things that I certainly couldn't. They are just so switched on when it comes to how the systems work and how the processes work that it's just amazing. And you can really only get that from coming up through the bookkeeping process to understand really the ins and outs of what's going on in the likes of Xero when you actually are processing a spend money or whatever it might be.
Yeah, definitely. I used to think I was good at reconciliation and now I just leave it to the experts on the team. It's not for me. So when an accounting practice is working with Admin Army and our accounting practice support team, what does the process for that look like?
So let me just start at the beginning. So when we sort of first make contact with a client, we will have what we call a discovery call, which would normally be with you and I, and it will just be talking about requirements and what the client wants in terms of a process and talking about what we can actually offer and how we can fit in there. And then once we move ahead, we have some Zoom calls, which involve some information sharing, access requirements, and really just nutting out exactly what the process flow needs to look like in terms of what the client would like to do. And then from there, we will just rip into a trial job. And that's really where we test those conversations that we've had previously. And we go through and we follow on and process that and pass it back through to review, and then set up another Zoom call to have the feedback to really make sure that we've understood the process and to make sure that the accounting practice is really happy with how that process is working. And once we really get through that initial understanding of each other, it's basically set and forget. You send a job planner to us, which is what indicates to us that we start a job. You give us access to the source documents and away we go. We get busy processing, preparing, and just generally doing what we do best. And the really key thing with us, I think, is that if we've got any issues or queries, we don't leave it to the end of a job to go and find out those answers. We will actually proactively send an email, pick up the phone, depending on what sort of query it is, just to clarify the requirements. And to me, that really creates efficiency and adds a lot of value to the way that we operate. It means that we're not waiting on jobs that could potentially progress if we simply had pinged a little email or a little note to the accountant to ask a question just on some technical point. And so from there, once we have a beautiful set of financial statements and tax returns in a draft, we will send them through to the relevant person in the firm to do their internal review. And once they've reviewed and are happy, the job basically progresses through the firm's internal workflow as it normally would, through to director and client review. And of course, if there's any changes or any amendments that need to be made, we are happy to pick that up and do it as and when required.
Not that there's ever many of those.
Not too many.
Does happen though. Does happen. No one's perfect. So what would you say sets Admin Army service apart from other providers that are out there offering something similar?
So I think there's a few key ingredients to the Admin Army's secret sauce, if you will. And I think the main one of those is definitely our team. So obviously the APS team are being led by me, and I'm New Zealand based. I'm a Kiwi, and I really have a lot of the understanding of the business landscape in terms of New Zealand accounting and the SPFR and all those sorts of things. And I disseminate that information down, and we are regularly training together to make sure that all of our team is fully across the Kiwi way of doing things. Yeah. And the flip side of that is my team are just so passionate and so driven, and they feel really strongly about understanding our clients and how our clients work, and in turn then actually understanding the end client whose work we're processing. They find it absolutely fascinating that one day we could be working on some sort of rental property, but then the next day we might be working on some sort of agricultural business or retail or hospo. And so they are just so keen to get in and to see all the things that happen in all the businesses in New Zealand. They just absolutely love it.
Yeah, and we love teaching them all the New Zealand slang.
Yes,
they
we do.
Pick it up pretty quickly though, don't they?
They do. G'day is one of my favourites. I like to say that all the time.
Yeah.
But I think because I've got that sort of level of New Zealand experience, what that means in terms of working with APS is that we are knowledgeable, but we're also still fun, and we don't take ourselves overly seriously. I think there's been a really massive shift in the accounting industry in the last sort of decade or so, where going from addressing clients really formally and keeping a very professional relationship is no longer the way to add value, and is no longer the way to win clients. What they want is the value add. They want the relationship. And that's what I really understand, and that's what I'm driving forward as an APS offering, is that we are similar in that sense that we are also looking for that relationship and looking to build that and looking to add value to any client's business.
Yeah, absolutely. So what would you say for an accounting practice is the benefit of using our remote services to get this work done?
It is definitely all of the things we've already spoken about. Mm-hmm. And it is also just that, A, we're awesome.
Yes.
And B, because we're based in New Zealand and because I have that know-how, it just removes a lot of the barriers in terms of what a lot of the perception is around outsourcing and using offshore resources. I am basically the conduit to any of our global team, and I am the expert in the New Zealand area. And we are working towards everybody being absolutely experts in all things New Zealand business related. And so that varies a little bit from the traditional model where you may be sort of either outsourcing and talking and speaking directly with some sort of outsourced manager who may be based offshore as well, and maybe doesn't have the exact know-how and the real in-depth understanding in terms of what is going on in the New Zealand housing market, what is going on in terms of our COVID situation, and what is going on in terms of the changes with our rules and things like that, and what that actually means for a business.
Yeah, and I think if I was to sum it up, I would say there's not too many other offerings that could, hand on heart, like you and I say, like how much we actually genuinely love our team. They're not just, units that are out there chipping away day in, day out. Like, they are people that we have like really strong relationships with. And, in future sessions, I will be interviewing some of them as well. So, everyone will be able to get to know Annette and his wicked sense of humour, and hopefully get some recipe suggestions from the likes of Preeti. And I get a lot of pleasure out of our team, and I think that our clients do as well.
Absolutely. They are fantastic to deal with. And I think it comes through when you do partner with us, is that we are not treating our staff or treating anybody like they are a resource. We are treating them like people, and they are my friends, they are my colleagues, and all of us really enjoy coming to work every day and actually virtually hanging out with each other, because that's what we do. And that's what makes work fun and enjoyable, and that's what makes it engaging for myself and also for all of the guys that work with me.
Absolutely. All right, Lorna, $1 million question. You know I love me a good random question, so it wouldn't be a chat with me without one of those. So if you were stranded on a desert island, what 3 items would you take with you?
So hear me out. I've got this.
Okay.
I would take my phone, a solar-powered phone charger, and a barrel of wine. So here's why.
Just the one barrel?
Well, I could push to 2, but we'll see. So I'm sort of thinking, right, you get stuck on a desert island, so why not just make the most of it? Maybe have a little bit of a holiday, download an ebook, maybe listen to a podcast, have a little bit of a break, And also, of course, on your phone, you can always be available and check your emails.
No.
And then while you're doing that, you drink your wine and you have a jolly old time. But then once the wine is gone, you can use that barrel and fashion it into some sort of boat to get yourself off that island.
I'm glad you went with boat, because my initial thoughts when you started saying that sentence was dress. And I was a bit concerned. But, if you've had all the wine, you probably are keen to wear the barrel as a dress.
You potentially definitely could. And if you had multiple barrels, then you've got a whole world of options.
You sure do. All right. Thanks for your time, Lorna. And I hope everyone has enjoyed getting to know you a little bit better. And I've certainly had some fun.
Thank you so much. I've had a good time too.
All right. Catch you later.
See you later.